Hello, friends, and welcome to another Origins of Expressions. Today, we'll be going over the phrases go off the rails, riding the gravy train, the wrong side of the tracks. What do they all have in common? They're all phrases and idioms around trains. Let's get right to work and start this video. Ah, the train, a series of connected vehicles that run along a railway track that transport people and freight. Trains have had their roots in our lives since the 1700s, when wagons used railways and were powered by horses or pulled by cables. Following the invention of the steam locomotive in the United Kingdom in 1804, trains rapidly spread around the world, allowing freight and passengers to move over land faster and cheaper than ever possible before. With this great invention, to quickly move people and objects, it is no surprise that we were encouraged to create idioms and phrases around fast-moving metal machines. Today, we'll explore 3 phrases around trains. Let's go ahead and chug into our first phrase. Go off the rails. Go off the rails means to behave in an abnormal way, to act in an insane manner or highly unpredictable or illogical manner. The idiom "go off the rails" has been used since the mid-1800s when trains were an important part of transportation. This phrase references a train derailment, when a train goes off the tracks and it falls off its intended path, which could cause a crash or other damages. And just like that, the idiom was born. We use it when we see someone leave their normal behavior path for a bad life path. Well, they just went off the rails. For this reason, we generally use this expression to refer to a negative change in a condition. It is said that this phrase might have started in Toronto, Canada, as a different phrase, off your trolley. It was said that the old Queen Street trolley stop was just at the fork in the road where the provincial lunatic asylum used to exist. They have since torn down this historic 1850 building. So the phrase started to be used to express people were going crazy and should get off at that stop. But that phrase is for another video. Off the rails was first used as an idiom in writing in 1828 in Sir Walter's Postbag, More Stories and Sidelines from his Unpublished Letter Books, written by Wilfred Partington. It reads, "The Duke of Clarence has gone off at the rails completely. The duties of Lord High Admiral have upset him." Today, we still see this phrase when talking about a situation or event when somebody loses control of their behavior or emotions. Then you can say that they have gone off the rails. An example sentence is, "Our project has started going off the rails ever since the manager up and quit last month." Well, let's leave them while they try to get their project straightened out, and we can jump into our next phrase. Riding the gravy train. Riding the gravy train means that you are getting easy money, money obtained with little efforts. Okay, are you thinking this is a train that transports gravy? You know, that delicious sauce that you put all over your dinner? Not quite. The word gravy in this phrase was slang for extra money or easy money in the late 1800s. A similar phrase was written by W.C. Handy, which he used in one of his blues songs in 1914, in which he grumbles about falling off the gravy train. You know, losing that easy cash flow. This phrase started out in the United States. The slang became modern during the financial boom of the early 1900s. It was first recorded in the Encyclopedia of Word and Phrase Origins by Robert Hendrickson, which stated that in the 1920s, railroad men used the expression ride the gravy train to mean a run or a job with which there was good pay and little work. Today, we still use riding the gravy train to express money that comes in with little to no effort. We have also shortened the phrase just down to gravy train. An example sentence is, their gravy train ended when the government stopped funding the research project. Well, it looks like they have to come up with a new plan. Let's move over to the next phrase and let them think. The wrong side of the tracks. The wrong side of the tracks means that someone comes from the poorer side of town, the part of town where people live who are considered of a lower social class. Oh, they're from the wrong side of the tracks. The wrong side of the tracks has been used since the second half of the 1800s. This idiom derives from the idea that railroads often ran through towns, separating the poor side of town from the wealthier side of town, as mentioned by Thorne Smith in The Stray Lamb in 1929. It reads, in most commuting towns, there are always two sides which tracks service as a demarcation. There is the right side and the wrong side. Translated to the terms of modern American idealism, this means the rich side and the side that hopes to be rich. Today, we still use this phrase to express that someone is from an area that sees hard times and that their life is not easy. An example sentence is, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks in a typical working class family that struggles with money. Now that we have learned about this phrase, let's move on. Ooh, fun fact. Did you know that the term horsepower was created due to the steam engine? Yep, that's right. Thomas Newcomen was the inventor of the steam engine, but his design required consistent cooling down and reheating, wasting vast amounts of energy. In the 1760s, James Watt, the Scottish inventor, began tinkering with an early version of the engine designed by Newcomen. Watt's invention was to add a separate condenser, greatly improving the engine's efficiency. A savvy salesman, Watt knew that he needed a way to market his new product. He calculated how much power a single horse working in a mill could produce over a period of time, a figure that he dubbed horsepower. Using this unit of measurement, he then came up with a figure that indicated how many horses just one of his engines could replace. The sales ploy worked. We are still using the term horsepower today, and his engines soon became the industry standard, leading directly to the invention of the first steam locomotive in 1804. Okay, are you asking how did he calculate it? How did he do it? He calculated it through the power needed to move 550 pounds or 250 kilos 1 foot in 1 second, or by the power needed to move 33,000 pounds or 14,968 kilos 1 foot in 1 minute. The rate gauges the power it takes to do the work. Well, that's the information that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the origins of our idioms and phrases. I would love to have you subscribe if you did. I would hate to have you go off the rails if you missed one of my videos. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's quick and it's easy, and I would really appreciate it. Oh yeah, quick question before you go. Do you know any idioms or phrases around trains? Maybe you know other idioms or phrases on an entirely different subject. I would love to see them. Leave them in the comments below. And if I use one of your phrases, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks again for watching and subscribing. I really appreciate your support. Until next time, bye.